Hey, Inspired Tribe, my fellow freedom lovers. How's it going? It's John Nolan here. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for being with us. And have a wonderful and beautiful day. Today is Sunday, but when you're watching it, it might be a different day and it will be live to you. And this message, I firmly believe that every message finds people at the right time. So let's quickly jump onto something that we have said for 250 times or so, even more, is we're healthy, we're wealthy, we're whole, and we're free. That's the mantra of the live streams. And when we did them daily, we said it daily. And when we did them 3 times a week, we said it. And we continue to say it: healthy, wealthy, whole, and free. It's beautiful. It's important, right? Hey, Russell. Hey, Mike. Thank y'all for tuning in. Just let us know in the live chat where you're tuning in from. Also on Rumble, we're on Rumble. And I encourage you all, if you're on YouTube, hop over in the video description. You'll see the link for the Rumble live stream. Just jump over there for an uninterrupted, uncensored experience. I see Lone Wolf, Clover Wise, JHA. I see Johnny, feeling better naturally. Good to see you all. Aloha. Wonderful. So, a lot of times in the past weeks and months, people have been asking us a certain question often, and I kind of wanted to address that while everyone is jumping on here. So one of the things people say is, why don't you talk more about spiritual things, more about spirituality, kind of like you used to, right? And it's interesting to me. Everything is truly spiritual to me. Everything really is a spiritual experience. But the first order of spirituality to me is balance, right? It's absolutely balance. Everything I observe in nature, my life, everywhere I look, that's the order of the universe. And it's interesting because my spiritual teachers, my masters, if you will, my champions that taught me things and it taught us things, they were never the wide gown spiritual guru types. They were never the ones that had the super spiritual lingo and that were using constant, kind of like sophisticated words for everything. They were very simple, down to earth people, but they lived their principles fully. They actually applied practical spirituality. And so what I'm sharing today is really close to our hearts and really important to us. And I think it's the message of our time, and it's getting lost. And I have honestly been quite disappointed in some of the spiritual gurus and leaders that have been out there for years and for decades, that over the past 2.5 years have not spoken truth, have not gone in front of their audiences of millions of people and giving them guidance that I thought would have been beneficial to everyone. Basically all of them stepped away from all of their previous teachings and suggested things that were highly illogical and, to me, absolutely maybe misleading even. But let's stick to the order of balance. Why don't we go and discuss, because in the past 20 years, a lot of spiritual knowledge has been brought down into the mainstream. A lot of it has come through the law of attraction, which is, has been used for the most part just as a material tool for people. And we believe the first order of the universe, the first order of everything, is balance. I look into nature, that's how it works. Everything constantly seeks to be in balance. We, as a species, as a society, are extremely out of balance. When you look at society today, we are extremely sick. We are extremely mentally, physically, spiritually, we're completely out of balance. So our first order and first intention is to help inspire more balance in people's lives. And how do you do that? Well, truth is the most important piece in this all, because unless you are willing to explore what the imbalances in your own life, what the imbalances are on the outside, what the imbalances are in our foods, what the imbalances are in our conversations, in our cultures, we cannot figure out what will allow us to get back into balance. And so this to me is the most practical spirituality thing that we could possibly do. And it is up to us now, and this is the healing path, to restore order and balance in our lives, to clean our house, to bring order into our prayers, into our communication with the Creator, to bring order and balance into how we communicate with nature, how we live with nature, with each other in our conversations, to bring kindness, to bring peace and harmony back into that. And truth is the foundation of that. We can't do it unless we really know what we're dealing with and what we have been dealing with. So, as a matter of fact, maybe the language has changed a little bit, and I've really predominantly, consciously changed the language just because I've seen so many, and pardon my French here, spiritual bullshitters out there. People that don't walk their talk, don't live what they preach. And I've seen it behind the scenes. There are people that present themselves holier than thou, and really, like they are saints, and there's nothing in their lives in order. There's nothing in their lives in balance. They struggle with the basic things. And so that cannot be the path. So what do we do and how do we do it? Well, honestly, balance begins within, and we need to figure out what is it that is keeping us away from it. What is past pain, experiences from our past that we don't want to deal with. What are the things that keep us in a perpetual state of fear, worry, or imbalance or sickness? So that's the first thing, right? Then when you heal the inside, you go and look outside of you. What else is keeping us out of balance? Yes, well, there's food, water. I mean, our sky, air, everything is being manipulated and poisoned on the outside. Our water, I mean, if any tap water, in most places in the world, is fluoridated or has other chemicals put into it that heavily influence us. Most of what people call foods, 90% of what's on the shelves in the supermarket, they are not foods. They're, I mean, heavily artificially produced and processed, things. They're not really foods. Well, of course, we put them into our body. They heavily influence our biochemistry. What about the things that we consume with our minds? What about the media and the movies and the music and all of that we consume? So all of this is extremely important to us. And if not all of us, speak up about this and make it seen and heard, then people cannot move into a more beautiful vision. They cannot actually create a beautiful new future because they don't know what they're actually in. So balance is it, and practical spirituality really is it for me. And it what inspires me every day. And I go back and I look at the trees, and I've spoken about this. I look at the plants, and what they do is they live up fully to their purpose. I'm actually absolutely amazed at the trees and how they stand tall, against all odds, in the winds and the tornadoes and the hurricanes and the weather and the frost and the heat and everything. But that's where their roots are planted. That's where they create a living space for so many other species. I mean, a tree is a whole mini universe that has hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of organisms. So it creates a whole space, just one tree, and then the symbiosis with all the other living beings around it, with the other plants and animals, with the dirt, with the soil. And you look at that, that's perfect balance. And even if it falls, right, balance recreates itself. So balance is the first order. And that's what we need to pay attention to more than anything. And we have been out of balance because of our own negligence. I mean, yes, we can blame these cabals and dark group for what they're doing. They have initially, of course, helped very much with the imbalance. They continue to, but they're also taking huge advantage of our passivity. We're passive in our own co-creation of our own lives because we're so out of balance. So really, what do we get down to? What is our own purpose? I mean, if I look at a squirrel, a bird, a tree, if I look at a bear or a horse, or every living being has a purpose. If I look at the stream, if a stream of water, if I look at a river, everything has purpose. It moves in the direction that it's destined to move to, and it does what it's destined to do. Are we the same? Are we doing what we're destined to do? It's a big question that I have. Are we actually applying ourselves to our purpose? Are we actually overcoming our addictions and fears and overcoming our very limited perception currently? Because it keeps us in this loop, right? Because we're looking for solution that fit our comfort zone rather than step outside of it and see that we have a natural purpose too. And that, quite frankly, we seem to be the most influential species on this earth. Because as we move out of balance, everything else follows out of balance. As we move into balance, everything else moves more into balance. You can see this again in a natural world. The closer the natural world is um, to developments, and the closer it is to cities, the more it is out of its natural balance. It is still somewhat, but not nearly as much as when you go into the deeper forests far away from civilization. You can see you hear a whole different song, and it's interesting. In reading the books of many American Indian or Native American authors and teachers, it's interesting to me how they describe the more the European civilization came into North America, and the more it, began to dominate it or even intrude the natural space without the right. And I'm not saying everyone did that. I'm just saying, in general speaking, they noticed that the bird songs changed over time. So, clans and tribes would walk through the country and walk through certain areas, and they would, be in one place in spring and be in another place in winter, and they noticed when they came back to the same areas that the bird songs their ancestors have been listening to and hearing for thousands of years are changing. And yes, so everything in nature communicates with each other. Everything has a purpose with each other. We need to find the purpose of mankind again and live that. I think that is the key. And so, to distract ourselves with constant spiritual babbling and pretending that we are looking at the highest order of the spiritual laws when we can't even get the basics yet. Let's focus on the basics. Let's take full responsibility for our lives, for our actions, and for the consequences that our actions have on nature and other beings. Let's begin here. Let's start where we are. Let's start in the space that we're in and heal that. Heal from within, heal the things around us as best as we can, and begin with balance as our highest intention every day. When you wake up, when you go about your day, when you begin with your morning ritual, make sure it is something that balances you. Make sure it's something that brings you into a space of harmony and peace, and thank the Creator for guidance. Gratitude to me equals balance. When you're in a state of gratitude, you cannot help but be balanced. When you're ungrateful, which is, everything aside from gratitude, you're also unbalanced. It's very simple, right? And so how do we find gratitude? Well, people say, I have nothing to be grateful for. I might be sick, or I have a very small apartment, or circumstances. Well, be grateful for the breath you take. Be grateful that you have a drink of water. Be grateful that you have a means to communicate. Be grateful that you see, or that you hear, or that you feel, or that you smell, or taste, or touch. All such beautiful sensations that are granted to us through this physical experience. We can always find things to be grateful for. As a matter of fact, I would encourage you to begin every day with a gratitude list, right? When you wake up, when you maybe take a few deep breaths for a minute or two, breathe deeply, and just in fully arrive in the moment of the day, in the first moment of the day. Connect with the Creator, and then just write out the things you're grateful for, maybe 5 to 10 things every day. See how that changes things, and see what it creates inside of you. And then as you go about your day, think about it. Will this contribute to greater harmony and balance in the world, what I'm doing or saying, or will it not? It doesn't mean we should shy away from speaking truth or bringing our light into the darkness, because it all needs to happen. We all need to apply ourselves according to our abilities. But it means that, like Kathy O'Brien in our interview said so beautifully, don't ever voice a negative without a solution, right? If you're going to point things out, if you're going to uncover things, if you're going to show truth to people, well, you better also speak for a solution. You better also voice at least a positive that allows people to see or explore positive solutions. It's really, really important. So balance is the key. And that's the message of today, really. I thought Sunday would be a beautiful day to pick that. But as I said, whenever you hear it is the right time. And let us know in the comments. I know you're commenting in the live chat. I'm going to read all those comments in a moment here. But go down to the comments underneath this live stream also, and let us know what your thoughts are on this. What is practical spirituality to you? I think for us, it's really healing the basics. Get our houses in order. If we are in a place where we can take care of ourselves and our families, if we're in a place where we have community, if we're in a place where we understand nature better and live with it, I think we have done a lot in the eyes of the Creator. I think we've done some of the most spiritual things you can do. And we don't have to it's not just about the philosophy of it all and talk all the time. Talk is cheap. Anyone can talk. I'm really excited to see what people actually do with that. So this is where we come from, and this maybe answered the question. Some people say, well, you're not as spiritual as you used to be. Well, as a matter of fact, I believe I'm gonna shut up on all those principles. They're out there. You can live them and do what I feel called to do in this moment in time, and I encourage you to do the same. That's really what's going to bring this whole picture together, the beautiful puzzle piece that we all are. All right. Thank you so much, Inspired Tribe. I have one more thing, an invitation for all of you. I keep forgetting to mention it. And there's a few slots left. Kristin and I are, and I feel currently, I have the feeling it's going to be the last retreat for a while, the Yado retreat. We've done it last fall and this spring, and there's one more coming up in end of September 29th to October 2nd. And part of what we're doing there is exactly what I just talked about. It's really so important to us to help people see the depths of who they really are, go beyond our everyday rituals and perceptions, go deep with breathwork meditations and practices and exercises. We're going to actually overcome some of the resistances and blockages that people have. And really, the idea is that if you feel something's been holding you back in your life, if you feel that something has been there that hasn't allowed you to fully live up to your potential, we want to create the energy with you over 3.5 days that will allow you to go that mile that you couldn't until now, or actually overcome that obstacle, overcome that challenge, whatever it is, and feel how powerful and strong you actually are. So that's in a nutshell. We're always asked, people write us email, what exactly we're going to do. The whole point of it is that we can't tell you, because the truth is, when you bring your energy, your willingness, your openness, your excitement, your joy, your inspiration, that's what's going to determine how deep we can go. We're ready to go all the way. And we've seen this at the last retreat. We've really gone, man, we've gone deep, deep, deep. But Kristin and I are willing to go all the way. And if you feel inspired and you say, that's the thing for me, this speaks to me, this is exactly what I feel I need right now, then please send us an email to info@inspiredchannel.net and just put Yato, Y-A-T-O, in the subject line, Y-A-T-O. It stands for You Are the One, because that's it. When we do these retreats, it's never about us. It's not about we're the ones giving you anything. We're showing you, we're leading, we're showing or illuminating the path, leading, guiding you through it, but you're the one doing it because you are the one. That's really what it is about. So again, if you're inspired, and only if you are inspired, because as I always say, it's not like if you don't do this is not going to happen for you. No, there's a million paths that you can take, whatever feels right for you. But if you feel inspired, then we'd love to have you. As I said, there's still a few slots left from September 29 to October 2nd down in Florida, Cape San Blas, Florida. And it's going to be beautiful again. So just send us an email to info@inspiredchannel.net and put Yato in the subject line, and we'll send you all the information. And then we hope to see you there. All right, Inspired Tribe. I have to mention this. We're keeping the group very small because we think a very intimate, personal, one-on-one experience is important, and it's proven to be a great concept. So this is not a huge event. This is a fairly small event, small group. It's very powerful. All right, Tribe. Thank you so much. We love you. We appreciate you. And we'll be back with you again very, very soon.